Hello there. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, February 11th, and I am Rob, thatDeveloperDad, and I am working in C# and .NET and Blazor and all of those wonderful things. Project, boop, that's what I'm building. And let's see here. Nope. Commands, here we go. And I want to see what my commands are. Give me a second here. Here we go. Here is the URL to what I am building. Or it's the URL to the marketing page, I should say. And I did a little bit of work on that offline yesterday after speaking with a marketing expert friend of mine. And so the goal for this session is to continue the work that I started yesterday morning and got even closer with during this morning's stream. And I've got some code over in Object Filter form that can read the fields that have been added dynamically to the form by whichever component owns the Object Filter form, and creates a dictionary containing the filter field name and the value of what's been added to the form, or that field rather. And right now I'm just going on the NPC's full name, but we're going to extend that after I get this first one working. So let's come over to npc list.razor.cs and let's have a little chat with Copilot. So we've got NPC list razor. I also want to add the object filter form razor. Hi there. I need to add a method on the NPC list code behind file will be invoked by the object that will be passed into and invoked by the object filter forms. What's the method called? Handle filter submit method. When it executes, what should this method look like in npc list.razor.cs? Because over on the object filter form, we've got a property that is like an event handler type thing up at the top. Where is it? Event callback. And I've not used that object before, so I'm a little curious to see what it'll look like. Handle filter form submit. App context get current user NPC client filter yeah. Try get value. Filtering NPCs, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll hover over this and it should say insert a cursor at this button here. So let's do that. We'll back that out. Guard NPC services exist. Here we go. Filter.name filter. There is no property on NPC client filter with a definition for name filter. I knew that. So let's go to the definition here. And public string, we'll make it nullable. Name, get set. Okay. Now this, we'll just do that. Okay. So there's all of that stuff. To do once we have more criteria in the filter fields for NPCs, we'll want to make this more dynamic. We're gonna have to refactor the NPC client filter, though. Save. Excuse me, goodness. Okay, so that's that. And then NPC list, filter form, filter form dot on filter submit. I'm actually going to come out to NPC list dot razor, and on the object filter form, there is a parameter called on filter submit. Equals at I'm going to come into the code behind and grab this, but I'm going to rename it to, instead of handle, on. Save that. On filter form submit. Save. Okie dokie. Now, that should get us to about here. But filter townsfolk, okay, so it's going to receive the filter, the NPC client filter, groovy, and I need to turn that into a townsperson filter. So let's, you know what the heck, let's just plumb this all the way out the stack. Public string nullable name, save, close, name equals filter.name. Okay. And then this calls into the NPC API, filter townsfolk. So let's go to the implementation on that. And it's just a pass through. So we'll go to the implementation on this. And it is yet another pass through, but we need to map it to being an access component filter object. So let's go here. And we got to update the NPC access filter. We got to add the name as a nullable string, name. And we'll just pop in here, name equals filter.name. Save that. Bonk. Back to the manager. Filter NPCs. Let's go to the implementation. And this is in our Azure table provider. Groovy? Now, this is where things might get a little bit silly. Not all NPCs have been assigned a name. Not all NPCs have species and all of that other stuff. But let's try it this way first. E dot species name, vocation name, character name equals all right, we're not going to be able to do that, but query async, it requires a func of NPC table entity filter. Okay, we're going to have to get into some dynamic link eventually. For now, all I'm going to do is we're going to filter on the partition key, which includes NPC and the user's ID. Now, if npc.deletedDate is null, we're good. And also, this is ugly. And either the name property on the filter is null or empty, or character name equals the name in the filter. Bleh, that's gross. Because once we start adding more and more filter properties, it's gonna get grody. It's gonna get really, really, really grody. But it's good enough for first pass. It's good enough to see if it'll work. Rebuild the app. And it's determining projects to restore. Do I have to reload any extensions here? Just Azure Functions and GitHub Copilot. And it looks like it's about done with the build. It is. Let's restart my extensions. Copilot really likes to be restarted. Okay. Let's flip over to run. Push the button. Wow, it sure is seeing a lot of problems, but at least they're going away as it builds. What's this nonsense? Whatever. It's silly. Let's see here. Whoops. Let's scroll back over. Hack. Stop. What are you doing? NPC list razor. Let's grab this. And just to shut up the compiler warnings or the compiler errors, because sometimes it gets silly. There's that. There. All the problems are solved. It can see stuff now. Let's hit stop, and I got to rebuild again because I am a silly goose and did not stop the project before rebuilding. Come on. There we go. All right. Now, client filter. Don't need to worry about that. That's just a DTO. Townsfolk manager. Let's drop a breakpoint in here. Boop. And I want to drop a breakpoint up in the table provider. And I'm going to break right here. Character workloads, we can sleep that. NPC service proxy, we could sleep that. Razor.cs, we're going to want to stop in here. So where are we? On delete, on filter form submit. Let's grab this. Okay. Saved it. We're all built. We got no problems. Let's go. And it appears to be running. So let's open a new window and go to HTTPS localhost port 7277. And here's GeekDad. We'll use that for now. Okay, filter.to NPC access filter. Okay, filter townspeople. That's all fine. Go. Go. And are we back? We sure are. All right, here's where the real test begins. Alara Fin. And filter. I've got a criteria of exactly one. Full name, Alara Fin. So let's step out. Oh, we're over into NPC list. That's good. We've got that. Filter.name is that. And we'll just move that breakpoint. We'll go up in here, filter to access filter. And our access filter, we're looking for my user ID and Alara Fin as the name. That's good. Let's run. And let's see here. Filter. We've got the name, we've got my user ID. Let's put a breakpoint there. Proxy result equals null. Payload, I've got nothing in the payload. All right. Proxy result was successful. Let's just run down and see what we end up with. Nothing. Okay. That's okay. Because I remembered something a little too late. So I'm going to come up to the Azure table provider and NPC entity.character name. Yep. Dot starts with filter.name dot trim, and we're going to trim. All right. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Character name. And I feel like I am missing a closing paren over here. And I was. No, not a new project, you silly goose. Rebuild. How is Mischief doing today, Mr. Johnny? All right, on. Okay, NPC entity. Cool. And let's hit this. Excuse me. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes just sticking with the big three is sufficient. Okay. All right, back to our test. I want to reload. Access filter. Let's step over. What's my access filter look like in here? Okay. And let's step in. Entities has nothing. Step over. NPC entity pages. Okay. So we'll filter.name.trim. Oh, yeah, of course that's going to fail. I can check it out in a little bit. There. You silly goose. Character name. Starts with filter name trim. And I'm going to come out here. False. This feels really, really silly. Okay, so if filter name has a real value, wait, if filter name doesn't have a value, or the character name equals the filter name. And I should probably starts with the filter name, and we can get rid of that trim. No, we should leave the trim. Save. Rebuild. Yeah, sounds good, Johnny. I really, really, really dislike this construct right here. It actually offends my sensibilities. All right. Back. Let's refresh. And we got to come back up here to the access provider. Here we go. Good. Okay, so we fixed the broken null stuff. I saw that it is back. I unfortunately lack currency. Okay. So let's add this and name Alara filter. Filter criteria is that. Good. Go. 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 My filter up here has all of that stuff. So let's push the button, and it did not pick up the character. Well, let's take a peek. No characters found. All right. I need to look at what that character looks like up in Azure Storage. So for that, portal, I'll log in as me, and I'll do the service spelunking over here. Here's my app data. Storage browser, tables. I am in V1 up here, right? I am. Good. And the NPC access filter that I modified is V1, correct? Filter results. Definition. Yep, good. I just wanted to make sure that I was filtering the right stuff. So here's V1 user object. Let's take a look. And, aha. I see my problem. Stop that. So if we look at the character name column up here in Azure, we see that it's storing with the AI in parentheses. And that's no good. I am using GitHub Copilot, and I believe the instance of Claude 3 Sonnet that Copilot exposes, or that Copilot uses, is actually hosted on GitHub servers. So I've had fantastic success with getting that to work. All right. So we've got that AI in parentheses at the start of most of these character names. So I'm going to change starts with, which is just a simple contains. And let's rebuild. Okay. We'll launch the app. There's that. Pop up in here. Reload. All right, we'll let it run its just naked filter now. There we go. Pop in. Here's that. Add a filter, name, Alara. Filter that. Go, go, go. I think we managed to capture Alara Finn. And we have. So our filtering logic, the concept for our filtering logic is working. Let me pop in here and zap these breakpoints. Filter. We've got them all. Hide that, show it. There's that. Get rid of that. Filter. All right. So a couple of things I already don't care for here. Number one is I got to change the label on that button from filter to apply. So let's close down some of these files here. Townsfolk Manager, all of that stuff. NPC List Razor. We'll leave you open for now. I'm going to come over to the object filter form. And common object filter form. I'm going to change that to apply. And then button class equals filter form clear. On click equals handle filter clear, clear, save, come in here, and here's handle filter submit. I need to private async task handle filter clear. If the JavaScript runtime is null, out we go. And now I need to add a .clear element value in that JavaScript file that we added this morning. Let's come in here, pop this, and let's see what we're doing here. So here's filter form interop. Get element value is a function. And let's take a look over here. Nope, it's in here. Clear element value. Clear element value. Function. Element ID. Const element is document.getElement by ID. If element.value equals that, and then I believe all we got to do is return. What are you complaining about? Oh, right on. That could be fun. Do I need a comma? Okay. Oh, that must be an implicit export. I bet that's what it's complaining about. Handle filter clear. Let's save this. Now, maybe Roslyn will calm down. Let's just copy and paste and save. There we go. So there's that. And we got to rebuild because I have materially altered. Oh, and we're also going to have to define this filter form clear class in a minute too. So I'm going to need to pop open the CSS, and we'll get to that in a minute, maybe, because I don't see a class definition for filter form submit, so it's just going to use the regular button class. Goodness. And we'll run the application. Very cool. You got Swagger docs and all that happy stuff generating for it as well. Nice. Okay. Those two buttons are going to need to go over to the side there. But let's just give it a shot. Actually, green. No. Bramble. Apply the filter. Go. Cool. Clear. Hey, that's a thing of beauty. A. And let's pop up to the razor on here. Here's filter form for each. And what I got to do is surround those guys with a div. Pop them in. And I hate using inline styles here, but it's what I got to do. Inline style equals display is flex, no, inline flex. Justify content flex start and flex zero, one. Auto. Save. Let's see if it'll actually refresh or if I have to rebuild, because I think this stuff gets clumped into the compiled code. So whenever you change an actual Blazor component, you unfortunately do need to rebuild before it will show up in the in whatever UI you're using. And I'm pretty sure I've got that effect happening in the NPC list. Let me take a look up here. Inline flex, line item, center flex direction row. Yeah, that's what I got to do. So let's pop back over here. I don't need justify content. I do need align items is center. I don't need the flex factor stuff, but flex direction is row. I do need that, absolutely. We'll rebuild. And run. Pardon me. Goodness. Reload the app. Here we go. Non-player characters. We've got apply and clear over here. Groovy. Now, I actually want to create this filter form clear. All right. So where's that CSS file? Here's that. Dot filter form clear. That's a button. I got to come out to styles CSS because what I want to do is grab the background color. And I don't see the background color being assigned anywhere. Clickable hover, box shadow. What I am going to do, is up here, clickable. All right. And then here's styles CSS. It's a background image for medium button. I just want to override the background color. Yeah. So I'm going to grab this. And up inside here, I'm going to set the background color to that. Color is going to be var color, and I need to go to my variables to find the colors that I have declared. Let's go accent dark. Yeah. Accent dark. And let's see here. I don't need base vars anymore. I do need styles. I just want to see if I've put any kind of border. Okay, border radius is there. Good. I do need to override the border color. Border color is var color accent dark. Save. Save all of that. I don't know if those custom component CSS things get recompiled on the fly or pulled in on the fly, or if they actually get compiled into the Blazor's own sort of tricky CSS thing. But let's find out. I might have to stop it and rebuild, and I do. That's okay. It just takes a second. Let's rebuild. What problems are you saying? Don't y'all bite me. Go away. Let's try running the app again. I'm just going to shrink this little Safari window up a little bit. We're rolling. We can refresh. Show this. Oh, that's better. Apply. Oh, that's not quite what I want to have happen there. That's a little too much. Let's come back to the filter form. And let's get rid of clickable. Save that. That big blobby explosion of red it looks crappy. It felt like a good idea, but it was not. And then I do want to come up to NPC list razor. And instead of filter form clear, I'm going to take this CSS class, Control C, and let's go to styles. V button dot secondary button. Save that. Okay. Come back up here. Secondary button. And then I also want to come into NPC list, and there's new. Here's our filter class. Let's just pull this over and apply the secondary button style to that as well. Save. Stop. Rebuild the Blazor client. And go. Refresh my browser window. Here's that. And I believe I've got the web inspector up. Here we go. I want to refresh and fully refresh all of my style sheets and stuff. And for some goofy reason, let's inspect this element because I want to see if it's got the secondary button class on it. It has secondary button. List item actions, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that doesn't help me at all, does it? Sources. Let's look at styles. Where's styles.css? Here it is. And we'll scroll down here and see if button.secondary button is there. But I feel like that is what's goofing me out here. Let's take a second look. Class shown, secondary dash button. Yeah, I feel like it's not picking up that secondary style. Probably because of the way I structured the identifier down here in the style sheet. So let's just get rid of this. Save that. Now, sometimes we get lucky and hot reload actually works for some CSS stuff. There we go. So now delete is nice and sectioned off. Open this up. Bram, apply. Great. Clear it. Okay. Apply. That's a little something that I want to fix up here. I want to make the enter button actually hit the apply button when, excuse me, when you hit enter when this form is visible. So let's see about doing that. Styles, NPC, object filter form. I believe what I'm going to need to do for that is in here. And we're going to ask Copilot. Hey, thanks for all your help with this so far. How much of a pain would it be to set the object filter form up so that when it's visible, the enter key triggers the submit event. I know that might be tricky because we're not wrapped in a form tag, but let's try it without adding that HTML form. Okay, so we add an event handler using JavaScript whenever we go visible. And then whenever we hide, we remove the event listener. That makes a lot of sense. That feels a little bit like what I understand a use effect does in React. So I'm going to just grab that. I'm going to pop in a filter form.js and we're going to paste it in here. Okay. And then I'm guessing in the C#, that's the CSS. Filter form. Do we have the C# open? Oh, we sure do. And then object filter form, iasync disposable. I guess we have to make it iasync disposable. Is the iasync disposable necessary? I'm guessing so. That it is now because we're passing the class around is with this change now because of this change where it probably wasn't necessary before. I just want to know about why we're adding this change. Okay, yeah, we're managing JavaScript listeners that need to be cleaned up properly. Okay. Yeah, we get memory leaks and JavaScript callbacks and all kinds of messy garbage. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we're going to clean up all of these complaints in a minute. So private .NET object reference, copy. And let's just drop this. Oh, I'm adding some improved UX and interactivity here. And because it's causing me to change my component from just a basic .NET component, Blazor component to an IAsync to also be IAsync disposable. I was just curious about why it was adding that interface requirement. All right, do I already have an on after render async? It looks like I don't. So I like to put that stuff in here. Copy, paste, public value task, dispose async. And I usually put dispose down at the bottom. I'm just going to leave it here for now. This is going to run down inside my event handler logic. So there's that. I've got that reference already in place. And it's JavaScript methods to handle the enter key event. .NET object reference to call back to the Blazor component. Cleans up event listeners when the component is hidden or disposed. And we don't have to wrap the content in a form tag. And only listens for the enter key when that filter form is visible. Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. Your suggestions have been added. Let me try it. We'll look at our editors, rebuild. Run. Now that ain't going to do anything for me when I'm on a mobile device, but when I'm running on my desktop, which is where I expect I will be running it most of the time, it's going to be super convenient. And beautiful. And clear. Beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's take a look at our enhancement notes. Okay, that quota consumption is incorrect. I made a note of that earlier. And I want to try and fix that bug within this batch of changes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that after I've got the filtering where I want it to be, so that it's in, so that fix, and there's another fix that I want to put in place that has to do with when we come back from the AI request. It doesn't always, it can't always deserialize the output of the AI properly, and it's basically just croaking. So I want to improve the error handling around that so that we can at least retry it and make sure I don't knock down somebody's AI quota when it calls the AI, but the AI doesn't respond correctly. That should be in my pocket. Add a filter button to the left of the non-player characters. Cool. Different states. When no filter is set, we'll use one icon. When a filter is set, we use another. And it's sort of like what I described there. That works fine. I'm A-okay with that. In the full list view, clicking it opens the filter params. Okay, space and species of vocation. We'll add those tomorrow. Add hometown once that's been added as a townsperson attribute. I'm going to leave name in there. Used name, while under development, I think we'll keep it. Use a UI pattern similar. Yep, got it. When the filter's been applied, the icon will have a different appearance, and clicking it will remove. No, I'm zapping that. Setting the params, clicking the apply filter button, constructs, yeah. We got it. When the clear filter button is clicked, which filters to user ID and not deleted. Perfect. All right, so these, I have not yet checked it out, Johnny. I'll do that in a minute. So these, I'm going to convert those to checkies, and we're going to go check, check. This stuff is going to become checkies, and I'm going to go check, check, check. I was going to zap that. And params to filter against. Species, vocation name, character name. Somebody's trying to call me from Nevada. Odds are you looking to sell your property? No, I am not. I want those to be checkies. Come on. Oh, you're silly. Character name, I'll just cross this out. Font, strike through. There we go. All right, now that concludes what I wanted to accomplish in today's afternoon stream. To recap, I've got the UI all set for this. Right now, we're just filtering on one parameter, but that parameter is brought in by filter specification rather than hard-coded. I'm able to define what fields we want to filter on in the actual NPC list component itself, rather than having a component, like a discrete filter component for each kind of thing in my application. This is going to become more important when I start to add spoilers. Tomorrow, we're going to look at adding other kinds of filter items. For instance, filter items that would be checked or selected from a list or a radio button list or whatever. I've got support for radio button, but I'm probably not going to use it yet. Excuse me. So yeah, we're just going to add drop downs for species and profession. And then I want to clean up how these filter objects are constructed, or structured rather. If we look at the NPC client filter, it's a bunch of hard-coded properties that are just nullable strings. But if we look, over in what we're doing in the components, like if we take a look at what the actual filter form builds, it's building a dictionary of property name, property value. And I want to make a more generic filter object that I can just pass that dictionary out to whatever access component, as long as it's an access component for the appropriate object kind. And up in that access component, rather than have to do this ugly, hideous, awful code that I'm doing here, for each and every possible parameter that can be part of a filter, I want to build something a little bit more dynamic to run against these entities. So that's what we're going to start in on tomorrow. After the stream today, I've got some defects that I want to start researching. I can get a jump on getting those fixed once basic filtering is in place. Because I do want to get those fixed while I'm still in private beta, so to speak. All right. Speaking of which, Johnny, let me open up Twitch and get that URL from the from your DMs. Oh, Discord. Okay. Give me a second then. I haven't opened Discord today. And I'm going to flip to single cam because y'all don't need to see all of the crazy channels and servers I'm part of on Discord. But yeah, this filter feature, I'm rather pleased with the way it's shaping up. This is going to be a really nice affordance for my users once it's in place. Here we go. So let's take a look at this. I'm just going to pop this open. And that looks all right. Server online, stream offline. This is just for your buddy's Minecraft streaming. That's nice and clean. That's very nice and clean. I'm not doing the screen share with it because I don't want to leak your buddy's information necessarily, and I would rather leave that up to your friend to set up. But yeah, this is really nice and tidy, dude. The HTML is really nicely formatted that I see here, and you're just using basic HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript, huh? Okay. Well, I'll go back to main screen, turn on. So we've got our links. Here's what it looks like. That's really, really tidy. And that's obviously the address for the Minecraft server itself. Cool. You can join his Discord, watch the stream. Nice. Very nice. And then let's see about this. Here's Jeffy. That's another server status, copy IP, refresh. Yeah, this is slick, dude. I'm guessing you got all the API calls and all of that happy stuff. I'm not going to dig too far into your code, but yeah. Here's that stuff. API role. Show toast. Yeah, this is tidy, man. Well done. Yeah, I've adopted this color palette variable thing for my own stuff. I really, really like it using these root CSS variables. That's a relatively new to me thing that I've learned while building the DMs familiar and the sites for it and everything like that. Because I've got my my whole color palette defined as in the base variables or the base bars.css file, and then I can just refer to them as variable values. That's sweet, man. Good stuff, Johnny. All right, friends. This has been a rather productive stream, I think. We can now filter by name fragment. There we go. There's that. Oh, very cool. We can clear our filter, and this is going to become really, really useful for me on my main DMs Familiar account, because if you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that I, as my own account, have a literal army of NPCs. Here we go. Hey, I wonder if they're related. View, back to list. Oh, it doesn't retain the filter. View. All right. Back to list. All right, that's a note for tomorrow. Whoops. I want this. when the user views a NPC in the filtered list and then returns to the list, when the NPC list refreshes, it should check excuse me, the object filter form for criteria before executing the filter call chain. That's something that we'll deal with in tomorrow's stream as well. All right, there's one more URL that Johnny wants me to look at. And let me just grab this. Whoops. Go away, Nitro. You goose. Let me grab this. Copy. And I'll open a new Safari window. Paste and go. I'll write on. Using the API. Get the status of a server, Bedrock, use that. Turn his application JSON and is currently cached for 1 minute. .403 forbidden. Oh, right on. Response when server is offline. Debug values. Look at you, dude. This is some rock solid API documentation, man. I am envious. That's some really good stuff. Well done. All right. I think that makes for a pretty solid work session today. So I thank you all for joining me. And tomorrow we'll get back into adding more sort parameter or more filter parameters and fixing that problem that I noticed when I view a filtered NPC and then come back to the list. I wanted to reapply that filter rather than just showing the entire list and me having to click the apply button again. That's not great. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm still in the process of learning React. It's cool. I like it. I don't know that I'm going to rebuild the DM's familiar UI in React, but I am using the UI design as I teach myself how to use React. And it's a fun little thing. I'm just chipping away at it here and there, you know, an hour here, a couple hours there. But it's not my primary focus right now, obviously. Oh, yeah, I can imagine that it is. Um, I'm not used to, I don't use Cloudflare or anything like that. I'm deploying to Azure, but yeah, I can imagine that in some hosting providers, it can get a little wacky, especially if you get into things like React Native, or not React Native, but React on the server and stuff like that. So, thanks for joining me. I got a jet. I've got stuff that I got to do. I will see you all tomorrow, but until then, take care of yourselves and happy coding. Bye now.